Silent watchers. The bridge of the Earth vessel Vigilant hummed with quiet tension as Captain Ilara Rice studied the approaching alien craft on the main display. To any outside observer, the Vigilant appeared to be exactly what Earth's public space program claimed: a research and diplomatic vessel with minimal defensive capabilities, representative of a young spacefaring species taking its first tentative steps beyond its solar system. "They're hailing us again, Captain," Lieutenant Kaido Nakamura reported from the communications station. "Same message as before." Ilara nodded, her dark eyes never leaving the screen. "Let's hear it one more time." The bridge speakers crackled to life, and a deep, resonant voice filled the room. The universal translator had been calibrated to handle the Axorian language months before their arrival, though they weren't supposed to know that. "Attention, Earth vessel. This is Commander Vexlor of the Axorian Dominion warship Subjugator. Your species has been observed and deemed eligible for assimilation into our empire. Power down your systems and prepare to receive our delegation. Resistance is unnecessary. Your technological inferiority has been confirmed by our scouts." A small smile played at the corner of Ilara's lips. "They're so certain, aren't they?" "Very," agreed Commander David Chen, her second in command, "just like the reports said they would be. The Axorians have conquered 12 developing worlds in the past 2 decades using exactly this approach." Ilara rose from her command chair, straightening her simple blue uniform. "Open a channel." Kato worked his console. "Channel open, Captain." "Commander Vexlor," Ilara spoke clearly, keeping her voice appropriately hesitant and deferent. "This is Captain Ilara Rise of the Earth Science Vessel Vigilant. We are a peaceful expedition. We have no military capabilities and request time to contact our government regarding your proposal." The response was immediate and dismissive. "You have 1 Earth hour to prepare for boarding. Any communication with your homeworld must be approved by Dominion officials. Your technological abilities are known to us. Your fastest communications would take days to reach your planet. Do not attempt deception." The transmission cut off abruptly. "Well, that was rude," muttered Lieutenant Sophiadias from the tactical station, which still displayed the ordinary navigational interface rather than the advanced weapon systems hidden beneath. "They've dispatched a shuttle," reported Ensign Marcus Williams from sensors. "Small craft, 8 life forms aboard. Minimal weapons, just as our intelligence suggested." Ilara returned to her command chair, and our real-time connection with Earth Command. "Stable and secure," Captain Kaido confirmed. "They're watching everything through our quantum entanglement link." "Good." Ilara pressed a small control on her chair, revealing the hidden panel. "Earth Command, this is Captain Reyes. The Axorians have made their move exactly as predicted. Request permission to proceed with first revelation protocol." Admiral Helena Zhao's face appeared on a private screen visible only to Ilara. The Admiral's expression was serious, her salt and pepper hair pulled back in a tight bun. "Permission granted, Captain. Remember, we only show them level 1 tech. Let them think they've seen everything." "Understood, Admiral." Vigilant out. Ilara closed the channel and addressed her crew. "You all know what to do. Let's give our visitors a proper welcome." The crew moved with practiced efficiency, preparing for the coming confrontation. None showed any sign of fear, only focused determination. They had trained for this moment for years. "Incoming message from Earth's Public Space Command," Kaido announced, emphasizing the word public slightly. This was the official space agency that the world and, more importantly, watching alien civilizations knew about. Ilara nodded. On screen, Director Jonathan Pierce appeared, looking appropriately concerned. This communication was for show, transmitted on channels they knew the Axorians could monitor. "Captain Rice, our long-range telescopes have detected an alien vessel near your position. Are you in danger? Should we recall you to Earth?" The performance was flawless, exactly what would be expected from a somewhat naive space administration encountering its first alien threat. "We're handling the situation, Director," Ilara replied, matching his concerned tone. "The vessel belongs to something called the Axorian Dominion. They've requested to come aboard. I'll update you when I can." "Be careful, Captain. We have no protocols for this situation." Pierce's worried expression sold the deception perfectly. "I understand." Vigilant out. Ilara ended the transmission and caught David's subtle nod of approval. "Axorian shuttle approaching our docking bay," Marcus reported. "Security teams in position." Sophia added, "Hidden systems on standby." Ilara stood. "Commander Chen, you have the bridge. I'll greet our guests personally." 20 minutes later, Ilara stood in the Vigilance main conference room, facing Commander Vexlor of the Axorian Dominion. The alien stood nearly 7 feet tall, his scaled skin a deep purple that shifted to blue when he moved. 4 yellow eyes blinked in sequence as he surveyed the room with undisguised contempt. "Your vessel is primitive," he stated without preamble. As expected. Behind him stood 4 Axorian soldiers, their posture rigid and alert despite their obvious disdain. 2 others remained at the shuttle, while a final member of their party, introduced as Advisor Malik, stood slightly behind Vexlor, obsessively scanning the room with a handheld device. "We're quite proud of the Vigilant," Ilara replied mildly. "She's our newest exploration vessel." Vexlor made a dismissive gesture. "Your pride is misplaced. Your propulsion system is barely capable of interstellar travel. Your weapons, such as they are, would not penetrate even our shuttle's defenses." "We don't carry weapons," Ilara said, maintaining the charade. "We're a scientific expedition." "A foolish approach," Vexlor sneered. "The galaxy is dangerous. But soon you will benefit from Axorian protection. Your world will serve the Dominion, and in return, we will guide your development appropriately." Advisor Malik approached Vexlor, speaking rapidly in their native language, apparently forgetting or not caring that the translator would still function. "Commander, these readings make no sense. There are energy signatures I cannot identify, and the hull composition doesn't match the visual appearance." Vexlor silenced him with a sharp gesture. "Your instruments are malfunctioning. These humans are transparent in their primitiveness." Ilara caught the eye of Lieutenant Commander Rowan Sharma, her chief of security, who stood by the door. He gave an almost imperceptible nod. The security teams were in position. "Commander Vexlor," Ilara said, her tone shifting slightly, "I think there's been a misunderstanding. We're not as primitive as you believe." Vexlor's upper set of eyes narrowed. "Explain." "Humanity has a saying," Ilara continued, walking slowly around the conference table. "Never reveal all your cards at once. We've been watching the stars for a very long time. We've observed how the Axorian Dominion operates, approaching developing worlds, assessing their technology, and then subjugating them when they appear vulnerable." The Axorian commander stiffened. "Impossible. Your detection capabilities are far beyond what we've allowed others to see." Ilara finished for him. She tapped her communication badge. "Captain to bridge. Initiate first revelation." Throughout the ship, hidden panels slid away, revealing advanced technology that had been carefully concealed. In the conference room, the ordinary table surface transformed into a holographic display showing the Vigilant's true capabilities. "What deception is this?" Vexlor demanded, his hand moving toward his weapon. "I wouldn't," Ilara warned as Lieutenant Commander Sharma and his security team raised their weapons, not the simple stun batons they had been carrying, but advanced phase pistols that materialized from hidden compartments in their uniforms. The holographic display showed the Axorian warship now surrounded by previously invisible Earth defense satellites that had been cloaked and stationed throughout the sector. "Your scanners detected exactly what we wanted them to detect," Ilara explained calmly. "The Vigilant is indeed our newest vessel, but not for the reasons you think. We've maintained 2 space programs for decades, the public one, with chemical rockets and basic technology, and the real one." Advisor Malik was frantically working his scanner, his expression growing increasingly alarmed. "Commander, she speaks the truth. These weapons, they operate on principles I don't recognize, and these readings suggest their hull is composed of metamaterials that can change properties on command," Ilara supplied, allowing us to appear less advanced when necessary. Vexilor's face darkened with rage. "This changes nothing. The Dominion fleet will reduce your world to ash for this deception." "I don't think so," Ilara replied, gesturing to the holographic display where dozens of small objects now surrounded the Exorian warship. "Those are antimatter mines with quantum triggers. Your shields cannot detect them, much less stop them. They've been there since before you arrived." For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Vexilor's face. "Now," Ilara continued, "let me explain how this is going to work. You and your team will return to your ship. You will leave Earth space immediately, and you will carry a message back to your leaders." "What message?" Vexilor asked, his voice tight with suppressed fury. Ilara smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Earth has been watching. We've been learning, and we've been holding back. Tell your Dominion, if they want war, they'll find we're not the easy conquest they imagined." As the Exorians were escorted back to their shuttle, Admiral Zhao contacted the bridge again. "Well done, Captain. But this is just the beginning. The Exorians won't take this humiliation lightly." "I know, Admiral," Ilara responded, watching on the screen as the alien shuttle returned to the warship. "But neither will humanity." As the Exorian warship retreated from Earth space, carefully navigating around the now visible antimatter mines, Ilara returned to her command chair. "Send word to all hidden outposts. The time for hiding is over. Phase 2 begins now." Around the solar system, cloaked facilities on Mars, Europa, Titan, and a dozen other locations began powering up their systems. Earth had revealed its first layer of defenses, but there were many more still hidden, waiting for the moment when humanity would need to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. Breaking chains. 3 days after the encounter with the Vigilant, 6 Exorian warships emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Each was 3 times the size of the original vessel, bristling with weapons designed to subjugate worlds far more advanced than what they believed Earth to be. On the command ship Dominator, Grand Marshal Cresbel watched the holographic display showing the solar system ahead of them. His silver-scaled skin reflected the ambient light as he turned to address the assembled commanders. "The humans have some technological surprises," he admitted, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, "but nothing that can stand against the true might of the Dominion." Commander Vexilor was unprepared and faced them with a single ship. "We will not make the same mistake." Around him, the other commanders nodded in agreement. The Dominion had conquered dozens of worlds over centuries. Some had resisted, some had even surprised them with hidden technologies, but all had eventually fallen. "Our intelligence suggests their deception is limited," continued Cresval. "They have some advanced weapon systems and cloaking technology, but their fleet is small, no more than 20 vessels with capabilities only marginally superior to our own. We bring over 500 support craft in addition to our 6 capital ships." The Grand Marshal gestured to the tactical display. "We will approach directly. No deception, no diplomacy. Show them the true face of the Dominion and accept nothing less than complete surrender." At that exact moment, in the hidden command center buried deep beneath the lunar surface, Admiral Helena Zhao was addressing her own officers. "The Exorian response force has arrived, exactly as predicted," she announced, her voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. 6 capital ships, over 500 support vessels. General Marcus Rodriguez, commander of Earth's orbital defense grid, studied the tactical display. "They're proceeding with typical Exorian overconfidence, no attempt at stealth or maneuvering." "Why would they?" Admiral Zhao replied with a thin smile. "They believe they've seen our best technology." Captain Rice and the Vigilant performed their role perfectly, showing just enough advanced tech to surprise them. but not enough to truly frighten them. The assembled military leaders nodded in understanding. For decades, Earth had maintained layers of deception, each designed to reveal only enough to make potential aggressors reconsider, but never enough to show humanity's true capabilities. Inform Captain Reyes and the first response fleet to proceed as planned, Zhao ordered. Let the Exorians think they're facing our main force. In the void of space between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Ilara Reyes stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, now transformed into its true configuration. Gone were the pretenses of a research vessel. The ship now displayed its actual form as an advanced warship. Alongside it floated 19 similar vessels, Earth's so-called First Response Fleet. Impressive but deliberately designed to appear as though they represented humanity's full military capability. All ships reporting ready, Captain, Lieutenant Diaz announced from her tactical station. The Exorians are maintaining their approach, added Ensign Williams. Their course will intercept our position in 17 minutes. Ilara nodded, her expression determined. Open a fleet-wide channel. When the connection was established, she addressed all 20 ships. This is Captain Reyes. In a few minutes, we will engage the Exorian fleet. Remember your training and follow the battle plan precisely. We need to make this look good, like we're fighting with everything we have, before we spring the real surprise. Acknowledgments came in from the other captains, all aware of their role in humanity's carefully orchestrated revelation. Exorian fleet now entering visual range, reported Commander Chen. They're hailing us. On screen, Ilara ordered. Grand Marshal Cresvol's imposing figure appeared on the main display. I am Grand Marshal Cresvol of the Exorian Dominion. Your pitiful deceptions have been noted and will be punished. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Ilara stood tall, her uniform now bearing the proper insignia of Earth's Defense Force, rather than the scientific expedition markings from before. This is Captain Ilara Reyes of the Earth Defense Force. We will not surrender. Earth is a sovereign world, not a conquest for your empire. Cresvol's upper eyes narrowed while his lower pair remained fixed on something off-screen, likely tactical displays. Your bravery is misplaced, human. You faced the might of the Dominion with a mere 20 vessels. You cannot hope to prevail. We'll take our chances, Ilara replied before cutting the transmission. She turned to her crew. Battle stations. Engage as planned. The Earth fleet moved into formation, creating a defensive screen that the Exorians would have to break through to reach the inner solar system. As the alien armada approached, they launched their first wave of attack craft, over 100 smaller vessels that streaked toward the human defenders. Here they come, muttered Commander Chen. Wait for it, Ilara ordered, watching the tactical display carefully. Let them think their superior numbers are working. The Exorian fighters opened fire first, energy beams lancing out toward the Earth vessels. The human ships returned fire, their advanced weapons destroying several enemy craft immediately. But they deliberately held back, allowing the Exorians to believe their overwhelming force was gradually winning. After 20 minutes of battle, the Vigilant shuddered as a direct hit penetrated its outer defenses, all according to plan. Hull breach on Deck 7, reported Lieutenant Diaz. Shields at 40%. The Santiago and the Hiroshima are reporting critical damage, added Lieutenant Nakamura from Communications. Ilara nodded grimly. Send the signal to Admiral Zhao. We've given them their show of resistance. On the main Exorian vessel, Grand Marshal Cresvol watched with satisfaction as the human fleet appeared to falter under his relentless assault. As expected, he said to his subordinates, their technology offered some surprises, but they cannot match our numbers or firepower. Grand Marshal, his sensor officer called out, we're detecting unusual energy readings from throughout the solar system. Cresvol dismissed the concern with a wave. Focus on the enemy fleet. They are nearly broken. But the sensor officer persisted. Sir, these readings are coming from Mars, from several of the gas giant moons, from the asteroid belt. Before he could finish, The space around the Axorian fleet suddenly warped as dozens of massive structures seemed to materialize from nowhere. Orbital platforms, space stations, and hundreds of warships, all far more advanced than the vessels they had been fighting, appeared in a carefully coordinated revelation that surrounded the Axorian forces completely. On the Vigilant, Ilara allowed herself a genuine smile as she watched the Axorians' confusion on the tactical display. "Send a message to Grand Marshal Cresval," she ordered. "Tell him, now you see us." Deep beneath the lunar surface, Admiral Jao gave the command that humanity had been preparing for decades. Initiate full revelation protocol. Throughout the solar system, humanity's true defenses unveil themselves. The orbital defense grid around Earth, with its thousands of autonomous weapon platforms. The massive fleet bases on Mars and Titan, each housing hundreds of advanced warships. The antimatter production facilities hidden within Mercury's craters. The Jupiter-based gravity manipulation arrays that could disrupt faster-than-light travel. All of it had been concealed by advanced cloaking technology, derived from humanity's own research, not copied or stolen from alien civilizations, but developed independently during decades of secret preparation. On the Axorian command ship, Grand Marshal Cresval stared in disbelief at the tactical displays, showing the true extent of Earth's military capability. "Impossible," he whispered. "Their technology. It surpasses even the Galactic Council races." His communications officer turned from his station, his scales pale with shock. "Grand Marshal, we're being hailed by human command." "Put it through," Cresval ordered, his voice hollow. Admiral Helena Zhao's face appeared on the main screen. Unlike the Axorians, humans had only two eyes, but the steel in her gaze was unmistakable. "Grand Marshal Cresval, I am Admiral Helena Zhao, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces. You have entered our solar system with hostile intent. Under normal circumstances, this would be considered an act of war justifying immediate retaliation." Cresval found his voice. "Your deception was necessary," Zhao interrupted firmly. "For over a century, humanity has been aware of the wider galactic community. We monitored your transmissions, studied your technology, and observed how you treated developing worlds. Rather than announcing ourselves prematurely, we chose to prepare." The Admiral's expression hardened. "We watched as you conquered the Tellarites by exploiting their religious beliefs. We saw how you manipulated the vegan colonies into economic dependency before annexing them outright. We witnessed the orbital bombardment of Proxima Centauri II when they refused your protection." Cresval's four eyes blinked rapidly in the Axorian expression of profound shock. "You've been watching us for a century. That's before we even had faster-than-light capability." "Yes," Zhao confirmed. "We detected your early radio transmissions, just as you detected ours. The difference is that we listened and learned while presenting a careful facade of technological primitiveness. We've been holding back, Grand Marshal, not out of fear, but out of prudence." On the screen, the Admiral leaned forward slightly. "Now, here are your options. You may take your fleet and return to Axorian space immediately. You will acknowledge Earth and the entire Sol system as sovereign territory, off-limits to Dominion expansion. You will cease your predatory practices against developing worlds, or we will stop you." "You threaten the entire Dominion," Cresval scoffed, though with less conviction than before. "Even with your impressive technology, you are one system against an empire spanning hundreds." Admiral Zhao's smile was cold. "Are we? Grand Marshal, what you see here is only what we've chosen to reveal. There are Earth outposts and monitoring stations in 50 star systems already, including 3 within the borders of your Dominion. We've had faster-than-light capability for over 70 years." In the stunned silence that followed, she continued, "We could have struck at the heart of your empire at any time. Instead, we waited and watched. Remember that when you report back to your leaders." The transmission ended, leaving Cresval staring at the empty screen. Around him, his officers waited for orders, their earlier confidence shattered. "Grand Marshal, His second-in-command prompted after a long silence. "Your orders?" Creswell turned to look at the tactical display once more, taking in the overwhelming force that now surrounded his fleet. Ships and weapons platforms of designs he had never encountered, technology that seemed to defy the understood laws of physics. "Signal the fleet," he said finally. "We are withdrawing from this system." As the Axorian vessels carefully maneuvered away from the human forces, now under the watchful eyes of hundreds of advanced weapon systems, Grand Marshal Creswell made a silent vow to himself. The galaxy would need to be warned about these humans. They had been watching, learning, and preparing while the rest of the galaxy had no idea. On the Vigilant, Captain Ilara Rise watched the Axorian retreat with a mixture of relief and pride. "They're really leaving," she said quietly. "Think they got the message?" Commander Chen asked. Ilara nodded. "I believe they did. But this is just the beginning. The galaxy knows about us now, the real us. Are we ready for that?" Lieutenant Nakamura wondered aloud. "We better be," Ilara replied. "Because we can't go back to hiding. Not anymore." As the last Axorian ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel, a new message came through from Admiral Zhao. "Well done, Captain Rice. History will remember this day as humanity's true introduction to the galactic community." "What happens next, Admiral?" Ilara asked. Now we fulfill the promise and potential of humanity," Zhao answered with determination. "We've spent a century preparing in secret, developing technology, building defenses. But defense was never our only goal." "Understanding," Ilara said, nodding. "Exploration." "Exactly. We've been holding back, not just our weapons, but our ideas, our art, our desire to connect with other civilizations as equals. Today marks the end of humanity's silent watching and the beginning of humanity's voice in galactic affairs." As the Vigilant turned back toward Earth, Captain Ilara Reyes couldn't help but feel that despite the tension and danger they had just faced, humanity had just taken its first real step into a larger universe, not as conquerors or victims, but as a force to be reckoned with and, hopefully, a voice worth listening to. The galaxy would never be the same again, and neither would humanity. The end.